Alright, this has nothing to do with this video, but I just want to put it out there. I just got fresh off the plantation, and I want to punch my boss in the face really fucking hard. So despite having a shitty day at work, it feels good to come home and to be able to put out content for YouTube land. I wish I was getting paid for this more than I get paid for that. But hey, one day could possibly happen. So anyways, I'm here today to talk about the best and worst adaptations of Spider-Man. Into the Spider-Verse drops this Friday. I can't wait to go see it. And over the years, there's been a lot of different adaptations of Spider-Man, going all the way back to, I think, '67 when they had the first animated series. So I just want to talk about the ones that I personally watched, because I haven't seen every single adaptation, but just from my personal experience. The first ones that come to mind as far as the worst, I would say the Amazing Spider-Man TV show that dropped in the late '70s with your boy, I think his name is Nicholas Hammond, who played Peter Parker. Even at the time when it came out, you know, when they showed the reruns back when I was a kid, they would show that and then the Incredible Hulk like back to back. And I just remember that show being really shitty. The effects were really bad, and it had nothing really to do with the Spider-Man universe. You never saw any of Spider-Man's villains. It just sucked. It was garbage. So that's probably the worst that I've seen. Yes, even worse than Spider-Man 3 and Amazing Spider-Man 2. And speaking of those two, those are the next two worst ones. Spider-Man 3 and Amazing Spider-Man 2. I would put Spider-Man 3 over Amazing Spider-Man 2 just because there were some good parts about it. A lot of people shit on the movie, I'm one of them, but I will say it is not the worst of the series. It definitely is pretty bad, especially when they introduced Venom. But overall, I thought it was, besides the Peter Parker emo shit, it was okay. It's watchable. I can watch all three of them, and I can watch that one and not cringe that bad. Amazing Spider-Man 2 was just really cringeworthy. I did a video, I think, last year about the worst comic book adaptations, and Amazing Spider-Man 2 was definitely up there. That movie was trash. It was garbage. Even when I saw the trailer, I said, this is not going to be good. And it wasn't. Horrible. Trash. I'm glad Sony decided to give the MCU the rights to do Spider-Man and do it right. That's why I was nervous when they talked about dropping Venom and then dropping Into the Spider-Verse. But Spider-Verse looks like it's going to be hot, so maybe Sony can come through with this one. But it makes me nervous. In a way, I kind of want this movie to fail just so MCU can keep Spider-Man. Because I have a feeling if Sony starts making money off this franchise again, they're going to pull Spider-Man back. I'm nervous about that. I don't want to see that happen. So I do want to enjoy the movie, but I do kind of want it to flop. That's kind of bad to say, but it's true. So those are the worst adaptations. As far as the best adaptations go, there's been a lot of good ones. Spider-Man and His Amazing Friends, that was like my first exposure to Spider-Man when I was a kid. Saturday morning cartoons, they would drop that and drop the Incredible Hulk right after that, the animated ones. To me, as far as animation goes, I haven't seen the new animated Spider-Man joints, but just from what I experienced, Spider-Man and His Amazing Friends is probably my best animated adaptation, because I love that shit with Firestar and Iceman. The 1990s Spider-Man animated series was also pretty good. And you know, the animation was definitely better than the '81 version. But my only thing about the '94 version of Spider-Man, the cartoon animated series or whatever, is the fact that he kept saying Mary Jane over and over again. Did anybody else notice that? Like, Mary Jane is said at least 1,000,000 times throughout that series. You know, Mary Jane, Mary Jane, Mary Jane. I'm like, if he says Mary Jane one more again, I'm a flip. So, yeah, animated series, Amazing Friends. Now, movie adaptations, let's see. Movie adaptations, I would say my favorite film version of Spider-Man would be... All right, as far as a Spider-Man film, I would say Spider-Man 2 is probably the best one. As far as the best version of Spider-Man, I would say Civil War. And he wasn't even the star of Civil War, but just the way they captured the character, the way Tom Holland played him, the way they utilized Spider-Man, I think that's probably the best version of Spider-Man that we've seen on film, is what he did in Civil War. And I guess Homecoming, because his performance in Homecoming was pretty good as well. I wasn't a big fan of Homecoming. It's not one of my favorites. Even up to Spider-Man standards, I was like, I mean, it was good, but I wasn't like, you know, blown away by it. Nothing like when I seen the first two Tobey Maguire movies, like that first one and then that second one, especially part 2 with Doc Ock. I thought that was probably the best film adaptation of Spider-Man. So I just wanted to get that out the way before I see Into the Spider-Verse. I want to say this again in all sincerity because it's on my mind, and I had to get my head together before I made this video because I didn't want to do this shit angry because you wouldn't like me when I'm angry. But nah, yes, I really want to punch my boss in the face really hard. I can't stand my boss, and the bad thing is I used to have a crush on her when I first started, but now I would like to break her leg and, you know, probably just go Donkey Kong on her face a couple times. Not a woman beater, never hit a woman in my life, but I think about it, but I'm not going to actually do it. I know we're in the Me Too movement, so I'm not going to actually do it. I'm not serious about doing it, just in my anger, I just said that that's something that I would probably, you know, that I'm thinking about, but I'm not going to actually do it, okay? So don't crucify me. So anyways, y'all, that's what I got for today, y'all. Comment below, comment freely. Thank you for watching. As always, this is Rashad G signing out. See you in the next video.